Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever really stopped to think about Peeta Mellark's life before the arena? I mean, not just, the baker's son idea, but the actual home he went back to every single day in District 12. It's a part of his story that's often overlooked and honestly pretty intense when you dig in.
It absolutely is. And consider this surprising factor source highlights. Peeta, he's just 16, right? Fresh off the horrors of the Hunger Games, the Victory Tour.
Yeah.
And he ends up living alone in that huge house in Victor's village after catching fire.
Alone. Really? A 16-year-old. That detail right there, it just tells you something pretty significant must have been going on with his family.
Exactly. And that's kind of our mission in this deep dive. We've pulled these insights from a YouTube transcript analyzing the book canon.
Right.
To really dig into Peeta's family dynamics, his childhood. We want to find those key nuggets, the stuff that shaped him, things that add crucial context beyond just the games.
Yeah, this isn't really about the fights in the arena itself. It's more about the foundation he came from and how that foundation, or maybe, the lack of a good foundation, how that impacted the person he actually became. A crucial and sometimes, pretty heartbreaking piece of the puzzle.
Definitely. So to start, let's just look at the basic structure. The Mellark family, as the source describes it. You've got Mr. Mellark,
Okay.
And Peeta had 2 older brothers.
Right. And the source really points out how little we actually know about those brothers, doesn't it? Like, we learn one of them beat Peeta in wrestling once.
Yeah, just tiny details like that. The source notes one brother was still eligible for the reaping around the 74th games, while the other one was already over 18. But beyond that, the books give us very, very little direct info.
Okay, so then there's the figure who, well, according to this analysis, really cast a significant shadow over Peeta's early life, his mother, Mrs. Mellark.
She certainly portrayed very harsh. I mean, the source quotes Katniss's perspective direct, describing her as not a nice lady.
Not just that, even a witch of a wife, I think Katniss said.
Exactly, a witch of a wife. And the specific incidents the source points to are really difficult to hear about. There's that time she screamed at an 11-year-old Katniss,
who was just digging through their trash for food. Desperate.
Yeah. But maybe even more telling is the account of her screaming at and physically striking young Peeta. He was also around 11.
For burning bread. Just a simple mistake.
Just for burning some bread.
And she called him a stupid creature. That kind of language. Directed at your own kid.
It's just awful. And the source notes the physical punishment itself was significant, severe enough to leave him with a swollen cheek, a black eye.
Yeah. And one really crucial insight the source highlights there is Peeta's reaction in that exact moment. He gets hit and just carried on with his work, and apparently his mother did too. This analysis suggests that non-reactive response implies this wasn't like a one-off thing.
Right, that it was potentially something he was, used to. It points towards a history of this kind of treatment. And the source offers more potential evidence later in the books, too. Think about Catching Fire.
Okay. Yeah.
When Peeta hears the sound of whipping coming from the square, Katniss hears the whistling, the impact, the crowd gasp.
Right.
And Peeta's immediate reaction, it's hardened. He just says, come on, even though he can't consciously place the sound right away.
So the source argues that it suggests this really deep negative association, possibly from his past, even theorizing it could be linked to discipline at home. Maybe perhaps with belt is the phrase used.
That's the idea presented. And there's another moment the source connects this to when Haymitch punches Peeta on the train.
Oh, right. Knocks him right out of his chair.
Yeah. And Peeta's response is just get up, grab some ice, like nothing happened. The analysis connects that, seemingly unfazed reaction, especially since Peeta wasn't really a fighter. Connects it to the idea that maybe he did grow up a cuss.
That's a powerful interpretation.
Yeah.
And the pattern of behavior, it does make you consider it. The source even proposes an insight into Peeta's most famous skill set.
Yeah.
His incredible way with words.
Yeah.
His ability to lie so convincingly, especially to the Capitol crowds.
Right. The theory is that having to navigate a home where mistakes led to, harsh punishment, it might have forced him to learn how to, quote, lie and cover things up. It could be a coping mechanism, basically, developed to survive within that difficult household.
Okay, let's talk about that truly devastating moment the source highlights. Mrs. Mellark's parting words to Peeta right before the 74th games.
Oh, this detail is just brutal. Peeta recounts it later, his mother telling him, maybe District 12 will finally have a winner then.
And he thinks she means him.
For a second.
For a second, yeah. He thinks maybe she's trying to be encouraging, but then she quickly clarifies she meant Katniss, calling Katniss a survivor, someone she would fight for. So literally, right before her son goes into a televised death match, she makes it crystal clear she has zero confidence, zero hope for his survival, basically dismissing him for another tribute. That's just heartbreaking.
It really is. It reveals this profound lack of connection, maybe empathy, at least in that specific moment. And it helps you understand why Peeta might, jump at the chance for independence later.
Absolutely. Now, if his mother is portrayed so harshly, what about his father, Mr. Mellark? The source describes him as generally kinder, right? Perceived as much nicer than his wife.
He is, definitely. But the source offers a more nuanced theory here, too, that Mr. Mellark was likely also a victim of his wife's volatility.
How so?
Suggesting he was kind of psychologically beaten into submission.
Well, and the analysis proposes this could be why he might have stood by while she treated their kids so poorly.
That's the argument presented, yeah. The source speculates that maybe in District 12, the circumstances, maybe there weren't social services or easy divorce options, potentially leaving Mr. Mellark feeling trapped or, quote, stuck with her.
And the source even brings up the idea that Peeta might harbor some resentment towards his father, and maybe his brothers too, for not stepping in, not offering protection. It adds this whole other layer of complexity.
It really does. And what's fascinating is how Peeta himself kind of exposes some of this private family stuff to the whole world. The source points to that scene in the cave.
Oh, with Katniss, yeah.
Yeah.
During the games.
Yeah.
Where Peeta reveals his dad originally wanted to marry Mrs. Everdeen.
Exactly.
That always struck me as such a bizarre thing for him to just blurt out right then. What motivation does the source suggest for that? Why say it then?
Well, the source offers a couple of possibilities. One is that it could have been maybe a form of revenge on both his parents, knowing it would deeply hurt and embarrass his mother, definitely, and knowing his father would absolutely face her anger afterwards because of it.
Okay. Or another possibility.
The analysis also considers that, he was near death in that cave, pretty out of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just a moment of stark honesty, just telling Katniss the truth about how his dad first pointed her out to him years before. But even then, he must have known the potential fallout for his parent.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's pivot slightly to a moment of kindness. Something the source really spotlights and, interestingly, points out isn't even in the movies.
The cookies.
Mr. Mellark bringing Katniss cookies after she volunteered.
Yeah, this small detail from the book canon, it's actually quite significant. He makes a point of visiting Katniss in the Justice Building after saying goodbye to his own son.
Even though she's not his kid.
Exactly.
And they had a relationship already, right?
Yeah.
From trading, Katniss traded squirrels, Prem's goat cheese.
Yes, exactly. Katniss already saw him as fundamentally nicer than his wife. She was certain he wouldn't hit Peeta like his mother did.
Right.
So the source describes the scene. This big, broad-shouldered guy, scarred from the bakery ovens, sits awkwardly with her, gives her this simple white paper package.
Containing cookies, which were a real luxury in District 12.
A huge luxury. Katniss thanks him, but he's quiet, described as not very talkative. She tries making small talk about the bread incident, actually.
Oh, wow. Awkward.
Yeah. But the absolutely crucial part, like the source notes, comes just before he leaves.
What does he do?
He leans in and says, "I'll keep an eye on the little girl," referring to Prim. Make sure she's eating.
For Katniss, heading into the game, hearing that promise from a kind adult must have been such an immense comfort.
Absolutely. And the source's analysis suggests his care for Prim likely stemmed from, a long-held affection, maybe love, for her mother.
Yeah, makes sense.
The source even does some light speculation, calls it headcanon, about the cookies themselves.
Like what?
Like, did he have them ready? Did he bake them specially? One theory offered is that maybe Mr. Mellark traditionally brought 2 boxes of cookies to the reaping every year.
Oh, as like condolence gifts.
Yeah, for the Tribune families. And since he was already there seeing Peeta, he gave 1 box to Katniss in the Justice Building, and maybe took the second box, or perhaps even brought more baked goods to Mrs. Everdeen and Prim.
That specific idea about the cookies, it certainly paints him in an even more compassionate light, doesn't it? Okay, let's tie this back to where we started. Peeta choosing to live alone in Victor's village.
Right. The primary reason the source suggests for this choice is, pretty straightforward. Peeta wanted distance from his mother as soon as he possibly could get it.
Right, as soon as he had the means. But the family still needed the bakery house for their business, yeah?
Yeah.
It was the only one in D12 essential for their livelihood.
Exactly.
And Victor's village was just too far for that daily grind of running it.
Precisely. So the source theorizes that while Peeta might have been okay, maybe even happy, living with his father and brothers, he absolutely wanted to avoid living under the same roof as his mother again, period.
And the strategy, as this analysis presents it, was pretty simple then. He just moved into his new house. Made it clear they were welcome to visit.
Yeah.
But understood, practically, they need to stay at the bakery to keep things running.
Right. And this act, this physical separation, according to the source, it creates a really significant shift in the family's power dynamics.
How so?
Well, Mrs. Mellark couldn't exert the same physical control over Peeta anymore, right? He didn't need her in the same way. He had his own house, his own money.
Yeah, that makes sense. The leverage is gone.
Totally. And the source even speculates this new dynamic could potentially offer the father and brothers a real option too, a way to distance themselves from Mrs. Mellark if they wanted.
Like an escape route.
Exactly. An easy escape route to Peeta's house, which maybe might have even made her less volatile, knowing they had that option. It's speculation, but interesting.
It is. One key insight here seems to be that Peeta sought this distance not just physically, but emotionally, too.
Yeah.
He was trying to move on, right? Forge his own path.
Yeah, and maybe build a new kind of family with people like Haymitch and Katniss, people who actually understood him, valued him, in a way that his birth family, especially his mother, seemed, well, unable.
Though the connection wasn't totally severed, was it? Remember the source notes Katniss observing him making small talk with his father, like about the weather and catching fire.
Yeah, exactly. It suggests some continued, maybe distant, but still existing interaction, a quiet continuum.
Right.
And while, the source focuses on the book canon before Mockingjay really gets going, it's worth remembering Peeta's clear distress later when his family didn't survive the firebombing of District 12.
Yeah.
It suggests his feelings for them, despite all the difficulties, were, complex and deep.
So, stepping back from all these difficult details, why is diving into Peeta's early life, his family, his choice to live alone, why is that so important for understanding him?
Because this background provides absolutely vital context. It helps us see the deep roots of his resilience, for one, and understand the coping mechanisms he developed to navigate these incredibly challenging circumstances from, a really young age.
It definitely sheds light on the complexities of his personality. Why he's so good at reading a room, maybe, at saying the right thing.
Exactly.
But also why he struggles so much with certain types of trauma and control later on. It connects.
And it reveals some of the hidden pressures, the unspoken things that undoubtedly shaped his initial interactions and his whole relationship with Katniss.
Yeah. Ultimately, knowing these details about his home life, it just adds incredible depth to a character who could otherwise be, easily pigeonholed as just the nice one.
Right.
It makes his kindness, his empathy, but also his internal struggles and even his trauma, it makes it all resonate so much more powerfully.
These are the quiet details, from the pages of the books that when you bring them into the light, they paint a far more complete and frankly more compelling picture of the boy who became the victor.
So, to kind of recap the key insights from our source here, Peeta's home life was really marked by his mother's significant cruelty, which was tempered, maybe only slightly, by his father's quiet kindness. And this whole dynamic ultimately led Peeta to prioritize getting physical and emotional distance the absolute moment he had the means to do it by living alone in Victor's village.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. How do those hidden, often painful dynamics within a family, how do they shape a person's fundamental ability to survive?
Not just in a literal fight for your life like the arena.
Right, but also in the relentless glare of the public eye that they have to navigate afterward. What specific skills, or maybe what profound scars, does an upbringing like that leave? And how do those manifest in, everything that comes next?